We ready to go? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Ready to go? Are we ready?
We are ready. You have the patience of a 2-year-old.
Zero. Zero.
None
Low.
whatsoever.
So are we ready? We ready?
Yes.
So we're ready?
You can do your thing, son.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Getaway podcast with Tony, Sean, and Jeff.
Hello.
I am Tony.
I'm Sean. What's up?
And I'm Jeff. What's up, fellas?
We're
boy?
brothers. We are having a good time today. We're just getting started. Happy New Year. We are in the playoffs in the NFL. The national championship game for college is here. And you know what? Things are moving. Things are moving and shaking and happening. So glad to be here, Sean. What's it like there on the West Coast?
Sunshine and tacos, son. Jeff, Chicago, what's
Sunshine
happening?
and tacos.
Oh man, Chicago. It is. I think we're officially in winter now. It's just cold.
Brr.
Tony, what's it like in Ohio?
It was about 20 degrees today. 19 when we hit the road for a basketball game this morning.
I don't miss none of that.
19. I think it's about 30 now. So, but I don't know. I'm staying in the house. I know it's
Sound like you
it's
got
about
a cold, man.
68.
You a little stopped up?
A little nasally. A little nasally.
Okay. Wait.
You're right though.
Hold on.
Man,
All
All right.
look. Speaking of
What's
nasal,
that?
I had to go get a COVID test at work the
How'd
other
that
day.
work
Did you?
out for you?
Yeah, with I've had a couple times, but most of those have been the finger prick.
Oh.
But I had to do the nose swab this last time, bro.
How'd you
That's
like it?
not comfortable. It's not comfortable.
We talked
You know,
about
and I
that
had
a
it
couple
done.
pods ago, right?
And I got a lot of nostril, bro, but it's just it was not pleasant at all. So they talking about if your eyes start watering, you know you did it right. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
We talked about how sissies complain about that little nose test. And here Jeff is being a sissy complaining about the little nose test.
Hey, I don't like the nose test. Stick my finger all day long.
Nah, the nose test wasn't that bad. I went in there and it made my eye water, but I had that one sensation in my tooth. One front tooth, I could feel a little nerve. It's weird.
Mm.
And then Tony had it. He said it was just a little uncomfortable, but you know, it is
Yeah,
what
it wasn't
is.
bad. It
And
wasn't
Jeff,
bad.
here comes Jeff crying. He out there
Look.
dealing with 8 feet of snow and the Hulk.
Stick my
And you
stick my
can't take
finger.
a little touch of the nose, the back of the nose.
Stick my finger.
Oh,
That's
my
just
goodness.
prick me. Let me go.
My gosh.
See, in
So did you
some
get
places they
instant
do that,
results?
some places they don't. I know they don't do that here, I don't think.
No, not the blood.
Yeah, they were both rapid tests though. Like it was like 15 minutes.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
So you positive
All
or
right.
negative?
I'm negative, man.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm all good.
Mm-mm-mm.
Like,
The Scarlet Letter,
look,
boy.
I listen to the heatings of not going out and doing the things that you're not supposed to do.
Oh. Yeah.
Unlike, well,
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
So,
It's gonna be one of
here's
those
the-
ones. Tread lightly.
I'm gonna leave it be. But you know,
Oh,
I'm
no,
good.
look, you can touch it. We just can't do it like we do when it's, the Getaway podcast uncut. Just tread lightly.
That's right.
Just tread lightly.
I'm good. I'm
That's
good.
right.
I'm with you.
Uh-huh.
I got my bottle of water for when I get to that point where I know I need to be quiet.
Did you just see the last 20 seconds, the amount of restraint we just showed our listeners and our viewers to not talk about a subject because there could be repercussions. That's just us on a podcast talking about it. But you got a group of people who committed felonies. They have no restraint. It's like the switch there's a disconnect. I heard the quote.
Disconnect.
I heard the quote. This is our house. We paid for it. This is our house. We can come in here when we want. How disconnected from reality can you be? So look, what we can do, we don't have to make it serious today, right? If we're going to talk about this, it doesn't have to be serious. It could be jokes. Because I see the funny in it. I see the dangerous, but I see the funny in it. Mr. walking around with the pedestal, the lectern, Yeah, he
Yeah,
tried to
man.
go home
Yeah.
and shave and clean up his hair a little bit. They picked his butt up. The dude from West Virginia who's a politician, all up in the spot there. They picked him up, and his grandma out there talking about, "Can you turn them cameras off?" And he's like, "Well, you got something to say?" She's like, "He's a good kid." Oh, whatever. Whatever. It's too late for that.
Oh,
So I guess yeah. So as long as we keep it light,
Yeah.
and part of me is, I guess when you see something happen, you say, I can't believe that happened. How in the world did that happen? Is that really happening?
that's
What the heck is going on?
Yes.
When you say all that, it makes me wonder, what did any of them think the end game would be?
Right.
Were they overthrowing the government? Were they going to were they were they were they going to take up residence in the Capitol building and bang the gavel and zip tie all the members of Congress? I just, for the life of me, I just don't understand what would be. And if you had no end game, it makes them look even dumber.
Look, I just
Right?
see the scene in Bad Boys 2. When the dude was like, I know my rights. He was like, you got the right.
Yes.
Shut
Yes. These are those shows, Stupid Criminals, Dumb
Oh,
Criminals.
man.
This is it. This is the personification of that. Look, you go in there with cell phone on. Now I don't know if how many of you guys, either one of you watch, Dateline, where a husband's killed the wife or the wife has killed the husband or whatever. Somebody's killed somebody, and what's the first thing they do? Cell phone
Go talk to the
towers.
spouse.
We try to check where your
Ping,
cell phones
ping.
were.
The cell phone.
And evidently they can go as detailed as who was inside the building and who was outside the building. Right? The tools that are available to regular folks, they're not as powerful as the ones that are given to the government.
Yeah.
And they're in there shooting video, taking selfies. And then the other issue that I had is, there are how many millions of people locked up for small marijuana offenses, and the dude stands in there and lights up a joint in the Capitol building. What are we doing? How have we gotten here? How has this been allowed to happen?
The thing is, okay, and it won't become this, but we could do a whole double episode and talk about happenings at the Capitol building,
Yeah.
behind the scenes, the wide-reaching connections, the conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
We could do that. But I do want to touch on one, because I think it's something that sometimes you say, I understand that there's multiple parties. I understand that there's this side and that side. I understand that this group is always going to see something, or not always, but typically is going to see something a certain way. And you can look at the same thing, just like the dress, right? Is it green, pink, or is it white or green or whatever, the shoe or whatever. Okay. Me, this isn't that. Okay. This isn't that.
Not even
This
close.
is, and you have some people that really feel like it was the right thing to do. I saw somebody on my timeline, and they were the first person to get the purge the other night. That was somebody saying how proud they were of their patriotic brethren.
Yeah, I
that
saw
are just
that.
so fed up that they decided to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, and listen, this is a lighthearted podcast typically, but man, that's a special kind of stupid. And I don't think there's any other way to put that.
This
Okay.
whole segment is dedicated to the special kind of stupid.
Special. Look,
to
there was
where I couldn't not watch it. I couldn't not watch the news
It was
because I just wanted to see. I couldn't believe what was transpiring.
yeah.
And the reactions that it was getting. So somebody, in a very serious note, so somebody made the mention, and I'm going to totally paraphrase it, right? Because I'll mess it up otherwise. But somebody made the mention today of talking about how, okay, so now we know that the whole Blue Lives Matter really wasn't about cops' lives and safety matter. It was about taking the opposite stance of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And they had to find any way to be the antithesis of
Right.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just happened to use cops.
Right.
Okay. Because if they matter, like you say, they matter,
Right.
then you should be denouncing every idiot that was there doing stupid stuff and harming people. Oh, yeah. And cops.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Harming cops. Right.
One
Going
di-
against what the
we've-
Blue Lives were saying.
We got one dead cop, two dead cops. One was killed because he was assaulted there, and the other one, I think, recently committed suicide.
Oh wow.
So the way that I read it was
Interesting.
the cop that unfortunately lost his life, and I don't think they've come out with all the details yet on how it happened. But I was reading a backstory of it, and the family obviously was asking for respect and privacy and whatnot. Right now, from what I read, he was a Trump supporter.
My God.
That's okay.
It's fine.
We've talked about it. We've
It's-
talked about it before. It's the actions that you choose, that you use the political party that you support as the scapegoat. That is the issue.
It's
Right.
the
Okay.
irony, right? It's the irony that you are a supporter of that man, and then it happened to be that group of people are the ones that caused your demise.
Yeah.
While
Very
you
unfortunate.
were the one actually protecting the Capitol, and you lost your life. That's ridiculous. It's unfortunate and it's ridiculous at the same daggone time.
And
So-
and this is
so
coming
I
from the
think-
one who was
listen,
supposed to
oh,
be
go
all
ahead.
about law and order, right?
Well, right.
The law and order.
Right. Well,
All about law and order.
Well, we've also seen those infamous now collector's items, tweets, screenshots of tweets that about how as a criminal and as a thug, if you deface or attack or cause harm to or try to infiltrate,
Take down
I'm using my own words
statues.
again, take down
10 years.
Statues
these
and
sorts of
monuments.
things,
Yeah.
or government buildings,
Mhm.
right? You're going to get the whole
10.
full wrath of the United States government law enforcement on your tail. So we read that, and that was actually from I want to say July
Yeah.
of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. To now, I've yet to see a denouncing of anything. I mean, even the even the busting the window, even the the breaking of the doors,
Dog.
even the climbing of the wall to break and enter.
You are
Yeah,
loved.
Right.
He didn't tell Black
Did
Lives
y'all
Matter
see-
they're loved. You are loved.
Did y'all
Right?
see the clip where they showed the people climbing the walls to the Super Mario thing?
Yep.
Didn't
Yep.
see that.
Whatever the song is.
It's like the as he's climbing up and as he lost his grip, then they played the music basically when Mario loses his life, but it was
See?
just kind of funny.
That's what I'm saying, man. All that wasted energy. Could we do something better with that energy
Look,
to try
look,
to stop a certification from happening? All the funds it took to get everybody there. Could have donated that to some veterans organizations to help feed the homeless. Let's not talk.
So you hear,
Go ahead.
and I don't know how much of what we hear is actually the actual factual. but I feel pretty comfortable when the reports coming out are saying that not only did he not call to check on said people who were being insurrected upon, okay, not only did he not call to check on them, he and Giuliani simply continued to call to see if they were able to get enough support to not certify the votes.
Right.
So he's watching whatever news affiliate he was watching, okay? Because according to him, they're all bad. So he's watching whatever. He's seeing what's happening. Heck, he might have been watching on closed circuit TV. I have no idea.
Right.
But he's watching it, okay? Instead of asking how everybody's doing, knowing they're bunkered down, okay? He's asking if we've got enough support to decertify the election, the votes. All right. So here's always been my thing. We don't have okay. So to have a democracy, you gotta have multiple parties, right? I mean, you got this group, you got that group.
Yeah.
They have different ideals on how to do it. You vote. Somebody gets in. That's fine. And I've always said, and I don't want to make this a super political thing today, but I've always said that I think it's very funny when anybody totally toes the line of any political party. Okay, to tell me every point that they stand on, you agree with. That to me is a little far-fetched. If you are any sort of a free thinker, right?
Yeah.
I heard folks that got on television and talked, over the last 4 or 5 days and before that, that until they put their name and state and political affiliation, I didn't even know whether they were a Republican or a Democrat. I think that's the beautiful thing sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And so for me, I choose to take the things that I value. Okay. And that's kind of shapes me and steers me. And that's on both sides of the aisle, neither side of the aisle, free thinking, wherever those things fall. Okay. And that's why I've tried to take the stance I don't take the extreme stance that, if you support this guy, if you vote for this guy, or if you I see you a certain way, I don't take that. But after the last 4 or 5 days, if you support that guy, you feel like he represents the office with the class that it should be represented with, okay, and like we're in different spots.
Yeah.
We're totally in different spots because he has shown over and over things that he stands for. And if you stand for those things, okay, see, people said, oh, he's a this, he's a that. And I don't know him. I don't know his heart. But I'll tell you what, over the last 4 years, I've seen enough. I've seen enough to build the case. I don't need him to come out and call somebody the N-word to think he's that guy. I don't need to hear that.
Right.
I've seen enough.
Yeah.
Okay. And so at some point, we got to get away from the left and the right. We got to take a step back and say, you know what, right and wrong. And that's just wrong.
That's what
not how it's supposed to be.
I put that on Facebook right away. I was at work inside and I didn't have access to a phone, TV, radio, nothing, working. I get done and I get to my car, my phone's going nuts. And I get caught up, and then my first thing was, this is all wrong. And then I got a friend chiming in talking about Trump. I said, I didn't say nothing about Trump. Mention Trump. This is about right or wrong. You don't need to go into it and break in doors, kick in windows, and tear up stuff inside the Capitol. That's just flat out wrong. And it's not left, right, independent, whatever you want to call it. It's right or wrong, Tone. Just like you said, right and wrong is black and white. There is no in between. Right? I didn't almost kind of sort of maybe murder somebody. Either murdered them or you didn't. You either assaulted someone or you didn't. Right or wrong. And this is wrong. Those people that did that are wrong. And I don't care who they are. Black, white, yellow, brown, I don't care. They should all get charged and prosecuted fully and made examples of.
Including the man who sent them marching.
One of my things was I'm surprised that they weren't shot. And that's another thing that's going around on Facebook. We're not asking you to treat us or them like you treat us. We want to be treated like them.
Right.
Right?
So last thing I'm gonna say
I was asking, where's the gas? Where's the rubber bullets? Where's the sand? Or those little bags? Where's that? Where's the lead? Because we get that when it's just walking down the street, not on federal property, damaging stuff. It's walking down the street. We get that. We get choked out.
Look, standing outside stores selling CDs, get choked out.
CDs, loose cigarettes.
Sitting inside a car, get shot.
Asking
on
for
a
your
traffic
ID.
stop,
yeah,
and from the passenger seat.
Right.
So the last thing I'll say,
jogging, look, running, taking a jog to get pulled up on by two people. And
the examples are countless. The examples are countless, and we can go on and on about them. The last thing I'll say is this, okay? If the statement is made that when that happened last week, justice should be done because it's wrong, when that statement's made, if your reaction goes to, well, yeah, what about this? Or what about that?
Yeah.
Okay. You, my friend, are absolutely a huge part of the problem.
Yes.
And I say friend very lightly because you obviously, if that is your stance before anything else is said, you don't want me as a friend. And that's quite all right with me.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
All right.
Yeah. I self-selected myself out of a couple people's pages. Like
Listen.
I just saw a couple people like, if you feel a certain way, just delete yourself. I was like, okay. I just started deleting myself from those people.
Yeah.
I was like, don't worry about it.
You know what? I felt kind of bad because I started off with, okay, you got something to say like that? Click, you're gone. And I did that for a little bit. And then I started going, and I'm going to be honest, and I don't feel as good about this. You know what? If you chose to make a certain leader your profile pic, you automatically got unselected.
Look,
You just did.
My thing
You
is
just did.
My thing. Okay, this is going to be my last. Like Tony said, this is my last statement on it. You're following a man. Those people there,
exactly,
and those people on social media, you are treating him as a god. You're not following a political party and a belief system. You're following a man. You let a human being who's made numerous mistakes professionally, personally, tell you to go down there and commit felonies. Just like the lady from San Diego that got shot and killed. She let him, who, by the way, said he was going to go down there and march with him, did not, got in the car, went to the White House. You let him convince you to go down there and commit felony, and it wound up costing you your life. You're following a man. Stop. For the love of God, stop. And think about what you're doing. I have very smart friends, highly educated, that we talked about that before, that make you smart, but highly educated, and they're following a man.
Mm-hmm. Claiming that they're following, claiming country.
Claiming country.
Following man.
With that being said,
everybody for listening to the Getaway Podcast with Tony, Sean, and Jeff. Do us a favor and hit the subscribe button right there on YouTube. Like it, share it. We appreciate it. Right there. Still right there. All right. Also, you can follow us on any social media platform. For instance, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. And last but not least, you can check out the audio on pretty much anywhere where you can listen to podcasts. So once again, subscribe, like, share, Getaway Podcast with Tony and Sean and Jeff. All right, man. Okay. So let's revisit our Heisman picks. John, what do we do?
Jeff won.
What do we do?
Jeff won.
Ding, ding, give him the claps. Let's go.
Hold on. You're pressuring me, man.
Gotta have your finger on the dial, man. Let's go. Good job, Jeff. Wah, wah, wah,
I came in second though, by the way,
wah.
just so you know, I came in second place.
Did you? Congratulations, first loser.
Look, nobody look.
I'm gonna give myself the claps.
Hey,
First
look,
loser.
first receiver since Desmond Howard, right?
I knew he was gonna do that since Desmond Howard. Who cares?
Yeah.
Hey, that was a long time ago, so don't go there. Let's leave it alone, Tony.
But the
Don't
one-
go there. Leave it
The one
alone.
I
before
think that was the
Desmond
last. I think that
Tim
might have
Brown.
been around the last time y'all beat Ohio State too.
Probably about that. Well, yeah, probably close to it. All right,
Probably
move on.
close to it.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna move. Well, we're gonna move on to the speculation that we had last week, and that was, is Jim Harbaugh getting a contract extension? Word is yes.
He
They're
did.
finalizing the deal. Looks like it's worth about half of what his previous deal was worth annually. However, with incentives, we all know what those incentives probably include. He can actually get, I think, closer to, if not exceed, his previous contract. So the question becomes, is this the new way of doing it? And that is, rather than firing people for an ineptness for the better more than half of a decade, let's reward them, give them less money, and then why would a Jim Harbaugh take that other than he really just wants to stay in college at his alma mater and try to right the ship? Jeff, you are the resident expert on all that ails the blue. Tell us, what are your thoughts?
Hey, look. If he stays, with him staying, things need to change. I said it earlier. If the defensive coordinator needs to go, which I believe he did make that move. He was not retained. So his coaching staff, whatever changes he makes, is going to be key. He's got a decent recruiting class coming in, so we'll see what happens. As far as his desire to stay, outside of going to the pros, I can't see him there was no place else for him to go as far as college was concerned, as far as on that level. So for him, it's one of those things where I would say, if I was in those shoes, that is more of a case where, like, sure, I'll take the money and I will do what I need to do. What music are you playing in the background? What is that? Oh, is this Jeopardy? All right, I couldn't figure out what it was. All right, so anyway, it is what it is, man. At this point, we'll see what happens. I'm not really convinced that he was the best choice, but he's our choice. So hopefully he can right the ship. We'll see. He don't have no excuses going into next year.
Kind of like the fact that rather than just firing him, they said, here you go, take less money, okay, and earn it.
Earn it. Absolutely.
That's a pretty novel idea.
You know what I think?
No? Earn it.
I think they didn't have anybody in mind to replace him.
Who do you get?
Right. You're not going to get Nick Saban.
So, and I think we talked about it before. We mentioned like an Eric Bieniemy, but he'll probably be a pro. He'll probably land to stay in the NFL.
He don't want that job.
So it's like, who?
Sarkisian don't want that job. Tom Herman don't want that job. Nobody wants that job.
Look, Urban's talking to Jacksonville. So right. I don't know. There's nobody else to go after.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
So,
okay, who's on the short list? Well, the guys on the short list, Sarkisian took a job. Herman just got fired.
Listen, well, I will be the first one to say I'm glad to see him.
Hey, we'll just continue to be like Chip Kelly in some way. Just don't learn how to win the big game.
Well, now that's a nice segue. You're getting better here. So the segue to Coach Kelly.
I was saying Coach Kelly, the other coach who can't win. Can't win big games.
Did you say Chip Kelly
you didn't mean Chip Kelly
or Brian Kelly?
Brian, I'm sorry, Chip. Brian.
See, so your disrespect.
There we go.
Look, they all the same. My bad.
You got your disrespect wrong. Now you're trying to disrespect the Irish and whatnot.
Hey, they both about the same.
They ain't about the same. You know what the difference is? We make it to the playoffs. We make it to the final game. We are pieces away.
And still
Sean,
end up in the same spot that we were watching it.
No, we were there. What are you talking about?
But y'all
not the same spot.
But y'all watching the championship game just like we are.
Not the same spot, though. We participated in the games.
Y'all watching the championship game the
Huh?
same
You
way
guys
we
aren't
are.
making you guys aren't making March Madness. This is what this is. You're not making it.
We're not in March, bro.
You know what I'm talking about? Basketball tournament. You're not even making the tournament. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Mhm.
Look, I hate it. I'm the first one to say it. You've heard me say it. I'm not happy with it. But we're there. At least we're there.
And now that we have the segue
Here we go.
properly set up, let's talk about one of those pieces. So, new defensive coordinator
Yeah.
for the Irish
Okay.
is, drum roll please, Sean, go
I don't
ahead.
have a drum roll. See, I need to add that. You should have told me to text me and then
But I got you one.
Okay.
I got you one.
Marcus
I got
Freeman.
You one. All right. Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman.
Jeff, you know where Marcus Freeman went to high school?
I do not.
Wayne High School.
You know where he went to college? College?
I'm gonna assume Notre Dame.
3, 2,
Ohio State.
1.
Oh, that's why I don't. That would explain why I don't know him.
2.
Because he was out of Wayne.
Hey,
Hold on,
Look,
if
he
we
was
ask
Wayne,
you one more
Ohio
question and you get it wrong, you're going to get
Hold
kicked
on,
off the
hold on.
podcast today, son. What's
Look,
up?
I
Hold
just
on,
told
hold
y'all
on.
didn't know who the dude was, so y'all asked me
Hold on,
questions
number-
about him.
hold on.
For what?
For who?
Hold on. So number 1, Wayne High School. We understand that. I know there's a block when
There's a
when it comes
block
to Wayne High
there's
School,
a
mental
block
block.
when it comes to Wayne, and there's a block when it comes to Ohio State.
Okay.
Y'all
Now
should
where-
know that
now-
already.
Now, where did Marcus Freeman play professionally?
I honestly don't know. Let me guess. Was he in Ohio?
Oh, he was actually closer to you.
I don't know. So unless you're telling he played for the Bears, I don't know.
In the
I honestly
claps.
don't know.
In the claps.
Tony, give it.
Come on, Sean.
Tony is handing
How
out
many
the
damn
claps
buttons you got?
left and right.
Because if you say, was it the Bears? I don't follow them either. So
You don't follow the Bears?
I don't.
Follow the Bears right there, hometown guys.
Man, they're not my home. I live here. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's cool. It's cool if they're successful, but it's never been my team. I grew up a
Oh, okay.
Cowboys fan. You know that.
That's right. Gosh.
Yeah. So
Rough right now, man.
we're
Times
going
are
down.
rough
Whatever
right
happened
now.
in Chicago, it is what it is.
we're going down to a 2-man pod. Jeff has now been eliminated from the show.
Man, you win the Heisman. You win the Heisman one day and
Man,
can't
y'all
sign
can
a pro
eliminate me.
contract.
Hey
Gino
man,
Torre-
look, I told
Gino
y'all. I
Toretta.
told you from the beginning when y'all said, "Do I know who the man was?" I said no.
I will tell you this.
He said
I
Gino
will tell you this.
Toretta.
He's done a great job. He's done a great job in the college ranks. He was instrumental in not only calling the defense there at UC, but also heavy in recruiting for University of Cincinnati. He's done a great job. Very happy for him and his family. Very sad to see him leave University of Cincinnati. Some big things happening there, and I think with their quarterback just announcing he is returning for another year there, that's a huge deal, as well as some key pieces on the defensive side of the ball. I think that'll mean good things for them. Probably a mid to top 10 beginning in the polls next year, and we'll see where they go with
Don't
it.
nobody care
So,
about Cincinnati.
come
And
on,
like I
man.
said, when Notre Dame calls, you pick up the phone and then you go.
Now, I think he was also up for the LSU job. I think I read somewhere that he actually interviewed for that as well.
What did I
so
just
big
tell
things.
You? What did I just tell you? When Notre Dame calls, you pick up and then you go. It's the Mecca.
And then you go.
Look, there's a handful of programs where you're just going to automatically go. Ohio State, Notre Dame. I would throw in that USC is in that group too, and maybe Texas, although it's more of a struggle nowadays.
I'm interested to see is Ohio reach when it comes to recruiting. I think that's going to be a very positive thing for Notre Dame.
Jeff, you're froze. Yeah.
Jeff, I know you're
pipeline,
upset. We're not talking about Coach Harbaugh anymore.
But they get a lot of those guys from Cincinnati. Look.
Just mean mugging.
He done left. See, now we're down to 2.
And he's back.
Another great day for production.
Love it. Hey, we keep it real up in here, man. This is real. This is real. This is Wu-Tang real.
Wu-Tang real.
All right. Let's go. Jeff, are you there?
He's there.
I can't see him. I just see 2 dots.
Yeah, he's there.
That's it.
I got him. That's all that matters.
All right. Glad to have you back, Jeff. You are welcome back to the Getaway podcast.
I'm here, but it's my I'm freezing up a little bit here.
So, congratulations, Sean.
Yeah, I got a little delay going on, so I'm not sure.
Hey, Michigan still hasn't won.
He's a jerk. He's a jerk, Jeff. He's a jerk. Nobody care about Brutus.
He said Michigan still. I heard that part. He said Michigan still ain't won. I heard it.
Yeah, what a jerk. He said you left and came back. He just wanted to remind you that Michigan still ain't won since you were gone.
I said that in the intro. You just got it.
I heard it.
Severely lagging right now.
Oh my God.
Oh, by the way.
What's that?
What we do.
It's Ravens.
That's what we do. We win. We win. Congratulations. Shout out to the Ravens and Michael Vick Experience 2.0, as you put it, Sean.
That's right.
Woo-wee.
Hey, man.
Woo-wee.
When you give that dude a crease, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
If you're in man coverage, you can forget about it. You just forget about it. If that front four don't get him.
And I thought today, people have criticized him and talked about how he's trying to be, starting to try to be too much of a passer and not even really using his strengths. Today, I'm gonna tell you what, he kept it and kept it and kept it. And he probably should have gave it a couple other times. They probably went to the well a few times, but the reality of it is what he showed is on any given play. I mean, he had a couple where it was either losses or right at the line. Then he breaks off another one for 18.
Yeah.
And it was 18 in 2.5 seconds.
That's the that's the give and take that offensive coordinator and the head coach is willing to take, right? Yeah,
that's right.
And look, he fights like heck to get back to the line of scrimmage when it does get all messy back there.
Yes, he does.
But 2-yard loss, 5-yard loss, they're willing to take that because they know he can hit them for, like you said, 18 or hit them for 60 or whatever. They're willing to take. Man, and look, you know who else showed out? 6'3", 300-pound fullback, H-back, tight end, Reichard, bowling ball, plays defensive line too. Jeez, Pete, you see him reach out and catch that ball and then get upfield? It's ridiculous.
Hey, he shows out every time they include him in the offense, man.
And
he does it every time they include him in the offense.
I thought a key play before that long touchdown run that Lamar Jackson had was it was 2nd and 11. And they gave that ball to Dobbins. Okay. And Dobbins made a move. It went left. He got upfield, and he made a move. It was a spin or he turned sideways on a guy and picked up another 6 yards and picked up 9 yards. I thought that was huge because that gave them the flexibility to be able to give the ball and let him run it, let Lamar Jackson run it. And that run, I mean, it was just really an impressive run. I mean, they didn't even talk about it. They didn't talk about the fact that he, had contact after about 3 and then picked up another 6. Just returning and sliding and fighting and got it to 3rd and 2 or 2nd and 2 or whatever it was, 3rd and 2. And it gave them the opportunity to let Lamar Jackson keep the ball. Those little things,
that's
man.
Right.
The regular viewer don't see those kinds of things. My eyeball be on that stuff. Man.
Well, that was fun to see. He can't win a playoff game. Well, he's won a playoff game, and I don't think that they're satisfied with just winning one. So we'll see what they can do going forward here.
Write these picks down, Tone. Who's your pick for the AFC? Is it Baltimore, Tone?
My pick for the AFC, picking with my heart, it's Baltimore. Picking with my head, it's Kansas City.
Well, which one is getting written down? Is it your head or your heart? Stupid.
I'm not writing anything down yet.
Well, I'm asking you to make picks. This is the pod.
Oh, we got to make our pick. See, I wasn't prepared to make a pick today.
Jeff, who you going with? AFC.
Go ahead. Come back to me.
Jeff don't know either. I'm going Kansas City.
I think that's a very good pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably Kansas City's right there at the top It's hard to go against them at this point.
Hence the number 1 seed. And in a powerful AFC, I will say, it's not. I mean, it's not like they're running away with a conference that's soft this year. I tell you what, the Bills and the points that they put up every week, and that defense that has been pretty solid for the better part of the year, and them dealing with injuries and whatnot, and seeing Josh Allen play out of his mind. I tell you what, I don't think it's an easy pick. I don't think it's just as easy as saying, "Hey, Kansas City's going to run away with it."
I said that I was going to go with Buffalo on Twitter because I watched them.
Oh yeah,
and I changed my pick today. I'm going Kansas City officially, but I did pick them initially the other day. I saw a video. They were at practice, and MC Hammer Can't Touch This came on, and about 10 to 12 guys started dancing. And I said, a team that is this loose and having this much fun, relaxed, can go far in the playoffs.
Yeah, they looked real tight yesterday against Indianapolis, though.
Indianapolis is not easy. They're not
They
easy
said they
to
were
beat.
I'm not saying that they're easy to beat. I'm just saying Buffalo looked tight.
They scored 27 points, huh?
They look tight.
I don't know how they look tight.
Because, you get to a point like there's a part in the game where they look like they were playing not to lose versus playing to win. And then they had to kind of turn it back on. So that's all. I'm not saying that they're not worthy of being where they are and that they're not going to be competitive. I'm just saying there's a point where they just looked like they got tight.
Jeff, I feel you on that. I don't think it's taking anything away from Indianapolis. But, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if you look at what Buffalo has done for most of the year offensively, and to see them kind of steamroll and just start running away from teams, they were never able to do that based on how they were playing. So, yeah, I can see that. I just feel like when I talk about Baltimore, and I love Baltimore, and man, I'd love to see, I love to see Lamar getting over that hump of the playoff, curse that folks talked about with him. But the fact is, man, I just don't see them as a team that will come back against a Buffalo or against a Kansas City. If they get down, I just don't see them as being able to come back against them.
Baltimore?
Yeah,
That's
right.
a problem.
And I think they came back against, today was the first time they came back, down 10 points or more in a game here. But the reality of it is, we're talking about the Titans. We're not talking about a super explosive offense.
Right.
And when, arguably the best running back right now in the league can't get going, and you have Tannehill, who is limited, who is actually down to one playmaker, not his speedster playmaker who was on the sideline. Those are two reasons that really contributed to them being able to come back. Tennessee looked very pedestrian offensively. Obviously, if you can't run the football, okay, and you're not going to light it up in the air. And Baltimore, another thing, they've made great adjustments all year in the second half. I mean, you watch Tannehill. I think at one point he was 6 of 7, 100 and something yards, or 10 of 12, something like that, 100 and something yards. You didn't see that in the second half. It was a different passing game. It was a different pass defense by the Ravens. And the fact is, the Ravens shot themselves in the foot a couple times. You missed the field goal, which would have put them up, 3 more. It never becomes a 1-score game if they hit that after they came back and took the lead. So, things like that. But I just don't see them. I think Buffalo and Kansas City way too high powered. Baltimore might be coming in third.
Yeah, I think so. Hold on.
The AFC.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to the Getaway Podcast with Tony, Sean, and Jeff. Hit that subscribe button right there when you're on the YouTube channel. Like, share, comment, engage with us. We love when you do that. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Like, comment, share, engage with us there as well. You can also hear the audio anywhere you can hear a podcast. We are also available on your Alexa-enabled devices. Thanks for listening to the show. Say word, son.
Word, son.
Word, son.
So polished.
Hey, man. Trying to get on the Levitard platform. NFC pick.
I heard.
NFC pick. I'm going chalk,
NFC
man.
pick.
Green Bay.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I don't have to explain nothing. Green Bay.
Huh?
This is going to be like the first
Easy
Super Bowl. Kansas City versus Green Bay. There, I said it.
I can't go against that, Sean.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Can't go
can't
against
either.
that.
You're welcome.
Now, with that being said, you have a Tampa Bay team who has defeated Green Bay earlier in the season, arguably when they weren't even playing as well offensively as they've been playing here as of late. You don't think that they pose much of a threat to
I don't know.
Packers?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just picking
know.
Green Bay. I like Aaron Rodgers. I like the Devontae Adams. I like the Packers.
I can't argue with you, man. I can't argue with you.
It's something about Tampa Bay I just don't like. And I don't know. I'm a fan of Bruce Arians. I like him. I don't know if it's Tom Brady and Gronk that I don't like. I like AB. I like Fournette. I like the big cat. What's his name? The receiver, Evans. I like him. I like the uniforms. I don't know if I like Brady and Gronk. I don't know if it's the Michigan thing or if it's the New England thing. It could be the New England thing.
With me, it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
With me, it's just the opposite. I'm not a Tom Brady fan. I'm not a Gronk fan. For some reason, I find myself anytime they're on TV and I'm watching, I find myself rooting for them. I don't know why.
Michigan or Tampa Bay?
Never. Right? Never. Never. The only way I would root for Michigan, and this is why it's never, okay?
Oh, we're listening.
The only way I would root for Michigan
Here we go.
is if they were playing Alabama for the national championship.
Wow.
And like I said,
is that a consensus?
That will never happen.
Hold on. Is that a consensus from Ohio State fans?
So let's look before we get into it. So I would say that Green Bay is also my pick.
Thank you.
But there's something about Tampa that I think that I see it's on. I feel like it's gonna be the two of them in the championship game.
Okay.
But yeah, I do think it will be Green Bay. Not Brady. Rodgers seems to be having a good season this year. So I just feel like it's gonna be that year.
I think there's still something broken. Honestly, it's not about Tom. I feel like there's still something broken with the offense in Tampa Bay.
That chemistry, I'll say it again. Even like last night watching them play, who's number 14, the receiver. They just seemed like they just kept dropping like those. Even the ones hitting them in their hands, but they were just dropping. And some of the ones I was like, well, you caught that one, but dropped the other one. So
did you see the look? Tom Brady got sacked, pressure right up the middle, and the defensive tackle beat the left guard, and he just happened to be called up from the practice squad because they had injuries. And Tom kind of falls forward, and he looked back up at that guy, and he could have burned a hole in him with his eye. And I'm like, man, if I was that dude, I'd have just dropped an elbow on him. At some point, get it? I get it. I'm a practice squad dude, and this is my dream. And if somebody tells me that this might be the end of it, like if that was a losing game and he did that, like I'm going out. This is my last game I'm going to play. I'm not going to play anymore in the NFL. I'm going to go do something else with my life. And the end of the game, we're losing. And he looks at me like that, I might drop the people's elbow on that dude. I've given the lookout block to Mark Green before. Mark Green, shout out. I've given the lookout block to him. It was just something he was doing, and he was being funny. And I can't remember if we did it as a unit or if I just did it individually.
Y'all bogus, man.
So, hey, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Because there have been times in practice where we've been told to give the lookout block. Because sometimes there's a lack of respect for the work that's put up by the O-line, right? Sometimes the britches get a little too big for them. You know, you get the big head and get to popping off, and then you get the look, or you get the hey, look out, okay, and you just barely make it out of your stance. Oh, couldn't get up, cramp. I couldn't get up, cramp. Right, but if Tom Brady ever looked at me like that, and I'm on the end of my career, tail end of my career, yeah, look out, and the people's elbow, and the people's elbow. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening and watching the Getaway podcast with Tony, Sean, and Jeff. Please take a moment and subscribe and follow us on YouTube. Push the button right there. You can also follow us on social media on Facebook, IG, and Twitter. You can also find our audio anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. Thank you again for following the Getaway podcast with Tony, Sean, and Jeff. Say word, son.
Word, son.
Quiet fire.
Look, that time I heard it real clear.
He got the Michael Bivins. He got the Michael. What is that?
What?
Oh man,
What?
that's funny.
What is going on? So, Jeff, do you want to re-record that?
Yeah, man, we might have to do that because that time I actually heard it come through like
Why did I all of a sudden think of "Can You Stand the Rain"?
Girl. But we will keep that on file, though. We'll keep it forever.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
We all have no fun. Go ahead and create a blooper reel. Just start off with that
one. Okay. I lied. I gotta revisit something here. And this just reminded me when I was listening to his Quiet Fire Authentic. Okay. He talked about how everybody can catch us on Twitter. Everybody can necessarily catch us on Twitter.
Yeah, there's probably one less person who can do it now.
Tony is on fire.
Oh man, that's funny. Did y'all somebody posted something like, was it like Baron something, and it was him with a mustache. Like I'm talking about, I'm new to Twitter.
I sent you that one where it was Hulk Hogan in the mask, like we didn't know it was Hulk Hogan, and then he picking up the mask like, it's me. Oh my God!
In all seriousness, though,
I was late on the fire for you, Tony, but I got it.
I know it's all good, regardless of who it was. Okay, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think of the ability for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram to simply ban or suspend? Now, granted, I don't know about you guys. I've never been to Facebook jail for being inappropriate, but I've seen a lot of people who have. But that usually lasts, 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever, 30 days in some extreme cases. Do you feel like that's a good precedent to be able to be set? Or do you say, hey, private companies do what they want to do? What do you guys think?
Son, do what they want to do.
Yeah?
I've been warned by Facebook. I've never been to Facebook jail, but I went off on somebody and I typed some words and I got a warning from Facebook.
Yeah.
Right.
I have not been warned, have not been in jail, but I think it's a great thing. I think they to be able they should have that censorship.
Yeah. If he has something to say, he's the president of the United States. He can hold a press conference. He say what he wants. But you got no weight with these social media companies. Now look, granted, it's a lame duck situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't going to do this in month one, because they know the ramifications and they can put all the sanctions down on them and squeeze them and whatever. And I don't know. I mean, this is to make themselves look good. It's self-serving when they shut him down like that, because
which goes to, and that speaks to all the other people now who all of a sudden have this courage to talk about how horrible a president he is, and he's not fit to be in this role, and blah blah blah. But yet all of them were swinging all the last 3 years and 8 months, 12, 10, 11 months. They've been swinging hard. Talking about,
swinging.
you know,
And
swinging.
you can New Jack swing.
So
don't. Out of
I'm
control.
on fire.
We are out of control.
Out of control. I'm sorry. Okay, so I see. I actually take both sides of it. I know that's lame, but first off, I agree with you guys. Everything you just said. However, the antithesis of that, the opposite side of that coin, and I saw someone speaking on this, and basically they were explaining how when it comes to the government, okay, they have allowed they basically view have been taking the stance of viewing these social media platforms not as news, not as those sorts of official groups, okay, to where they have to be held to certain standards, of what goes on, and quite frankly, of censorship. Okay, they've allowed them to kind of operate outside of that. The problem, though, is if you begin doing that, and they move you over to that realm, you are now responsible for the things that go across your platform. I don't think any of them want that, because that's what they've wanted to stay away from as well. They don't want to be responsible when said participant on the platform starts putting this, and this, and it's not getting checked, because it doesn't all get checked.
Right.
They can only check so much too. So I think, as our friend Ryan Turnley sometimes says, and said, I think in a similar case on this, it is a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because at some point, if they move you over to that side of it, and they say, hey, okay, if that's the game you want to play, we're going to move you over there, and now you are responsible.
Right.
Okay. And Zuckerberg doesn't want that.
It's easier. It is easier than you think. And it's simply programming. It's simply a code. And it's flags. You're going to flag a bunch of words, right? And whenever those words get pinged or whatever, the system gets a notification. And then you have people or that you could have another program that looks specifically at it. And if it's a combination of words together, then it's going to get flagged. Or you might have a team of people that's what their job is. Okay, we've seen it. We got the notification. It comes up on my desk. I go investigate. Oh, yep, we're going to block it. We'll remove it. We'll send a warning. It's not hard to do. And you can't tell me money's an issue, because they got plenty of money to staff somebody. Well, they can pay me. Hey, Mark, I'll stay home and do it. Set me up. I'm here. I'll do it. Pay me handsomely to go out there and flag all these stupid remarks that people are putting and inciting violence and racist and whatever else it is. We'll clean it up. But they got plenty of money, and I feel like it is their responsibility, right? Because look, here's the other thing they do know. They know that there are kids who lie about their age, and they get on there and they have these accounts. They say you got to have a certain age to get on there. And there's young kids out there that have accounts. They lie about it, create the account. So you're protecting some kids too as well. Clean it up. Look, if you want to hear bad or incendiary stuff, there are websites that you can go to. You can create your own website, which is supposedly what those knuckleheads are going to do now. And Google and those other sites, they're shutting down that Parler site, where it's all just radical right, crazy patriots, and that's how they're communicating. They shut that down too. I think there's a responsibility. If I have a store, a brick and mortar store, and after hours it's open to a fight club, and somebody gets hurt bad, hospitalized or killed, I'm responsible for that, right?
You would think so.
So, I feel like they should be responsible to go in there and clean it up. I don't want to see it.
That's a good point. Oh, what a tangled web. 10 days?
My thought was, you can't go there. Maybe you can go to TikTok, even though you tried to run them off. But evidently TikTok put them on the list too. I saw a whole bunch of them. TikTok. Pinterest. You can't go pin stuff no more.
He can't go to Pinterest. That's funny.
No. Somebody said his phone is
Oh,
a
wow.
brick now. He can't- no Insta, no Facebook, no Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, all that stuff. Shut him down. Parler, that app. Shut him down. You got a paperweight.
He going-
So what's that tea? What's that tea? That twisted tea? Heard of that?
The iced tea? Where the brother hit that dude
But-
that was
but-
calling him all kinds of N-words?
That's what he should have now in his hand in place of the cell phone. Cell phone has become the twisted
Oh,
tea
no.
can.
Twisted tea can. He hit himself with it.
Man. So I'm very interested though. For somebody who I'm actually sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for him to speak. Because he's always good for something
Have you noticed?
that's an entertaining soundbite.
Right. And have you noticed the last two things that we saw from him were recorded? Because the team has now closed the ranks. Now we've got to mitigate everything. We can't have you out here live on a hot mic and going off script. Everything's recorded now. Right? And if he messes up, they can cut it, edit it, whatever they need to do, start over. But the last two things that we've seen were recorded because that mouth is loose.
So they were recording, they still allowed those things to slip through.
What things?
Just the
What you're very
instructions.
loved. We love you very much.
Yeah.
And then he tried to say go home peacefully. Not know, hey, this is wrong and we're going to charge you. Go home peacefully.
Of course, he's not doing charge. I mean, he's not doing call it wrong.
No. Very fine people, son.
And then if anybody who's looking for that, you don't be looking. That's just I got some gold that I can sell you. He's not
I bet
going
you
to.
these cats that stormed the place are thinking, okay, if we can shut this stuff off, this cat can stick around, pardon us. He'll get us out of trouble. Just like you said, they're following a man
Yeah.
who basically has said enough. And listen, I too thought of when he was first talking about is he going to run? One of my thoughts is okay, non-politician in the White House. Be interesting. That could be a good thing. That quickly changed once he started talking.
Yeah.
You saw where he stood on issues, and you saw he had a plan on how he was going to get in, who he was going to rally, and ultimately, as bad as this sounds, a large portion of people who, for whatever reason, I'm not going to go any further and say that. I'll just say, once he had them, he had them. They weren't going anywhere.
Right. Hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker, dog.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Any conversation I've had with anybody has heard me say, I don't think he's a good guy. And that's why I don't support him. I don't believe he cares for anyone outside of himself and his family. It's been a money grab from the start. And if you can't help him financially, he doesn't care about you. And I don't care what anybody says. The conversation I had the other day at work with my boss was, I'm surprised that people voted for him. The people that voted for him are the people that are the middle class, that are hardworking, 2 jobs, sometimes 2.5 jobs. Both spouses are working, kids are chipping in sometimes, right? They're the ones who've been laid off when the economy went crazy and jobs were going away and the housing market. Those people are the ones who voted for him, but those are the same people that he kind of screwed on his come up. When he had them hardworking, independent contractors that had their own businesses working on his hotels and his properties, his golf courses and whatnot, and then would stiff them and not pay them.
These folks were not Trump supporters before he was in office.
Well, right.
No, but then he started playing to their fears about those people that were illegally into the country, as they would say, and us black and brown people who were coming in, taking jobs and doing.
Right.
He started playing. They're going to infiltrate your neighborhoods, and you're going to put this, and they're going to do that. So he started placating to those interests, And like I say, what he did, he made a lot of people comfortable in their, I'll call it ignorance, and that using that to rally and not recognize, because half the people that are for him are not benefiting from his policies.
That's right.
You know, and we don't have enough zeros behind our names or salaries in order to benefit the way that they think they are. The only thing, like, if let's put it this way, and I'm probably don't get this is probably not the, but if the previous administration made these claims and did the things, like, could you imagine if President Obama had a speech with Black Lives Matter and said, we're going to take the Capitol? Go. He would have been impeached before he got off the stage. Before he left the podium, they would have impeached him. Yeah, they would have impeached him before he got off.
He would have
not just impeached.
He would have made it off the stage.
Not just impeached, but he'd been removed from office. It was just, it would have all happened
behind his back.
So it's just, it's amazing how we are able to see the things that they want to see. And it's part of the reason why I didn't go back and forth with people when I posted the Colin Kaepernick picture.
I did,
because I know, and I figured some people would, but and I halfway thought about it, I was like, I'm not really, but the thing is that people will see what they want to see out of this whole circumstance, and everything that has been there. It's like, if I don't care, you can't. I don't know. I don't care how friendly you call yourself to be to the Black and brown population, right? There are just certain things that you are just not privy to understanding as far as walking in our shoes.
Yeah.
And there are certain things as far as the double standard that was clearly outlined on Wednesday of how one group was called protesters and another group is referred to as rioters.
Yeah.
And yet we just saw the biggest situation of looting, stealing, destruction and we want to people cling to this the symbolic nature of the flag and the symbolic nature of the Star-Spangled Banner, but the symbolic nature of our democracy get any bigger than the White House and the Capitol building in DC?
All right.
And there's no disgust or disdain for the behaviors there, but you want to be mad about someone peacefully taking a knee to get the attention about how black and brown people are mistreated and not treated fairly. It's amazing to me. But like I said, people see what they want to see and all that.
And I quote, "I are the son of a you-know-what." Remember hearing that? Quote, don't you remember that?
I do.
Do you remember that? Okay, I haven't heard that the last couple of days, but yeah, that was pretty. He was pretty quick on that too. He didn't wait to say it. It was out there.
Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, guys, we are all older, and more mature, hopefully wiser. Can you guys recollect a time when the position of President of the United States, arguably the most powerful position in the world, by a single person, it's been so polarizing? I mean, it's truly been this polarizing and volatile, and I can't recall that.
No,
I can't recall it to that degree.
It wasn't even this bad when Obama was president.
That's right. It wasn't even this bad when a black man took office in the United States of America.
And it was bad then.
Now it sparked.
Yeah, but it wasn't this bad.
It wasn't like this. You know what? A person that I respect a ton, and he does listen to the podcast. I know he sat through a lot of this today, and he's probably going to be taking his walk, listening to it. He listens regularly. He and I have great conversations because we do sit on opposite sides of a lot of issues. Okay,
That's
but
cool.
I think we both sit on the same side of humanism and right and wrong. So it's awesome having those conversations with him. One thing he said to me not too long ago, and this was probably a couple months ago, he said, "You know what? The majority of people on the right side good people that don't agree with all that. I say, you know what? You're probably right.
Yeah.
And you know what? And the majority of the people on the left side, you know, there's a whole bunch of people. Here's the line, and you
Yeah.
got people on both sides, and it's the majority of the people.
Yeah.
Good people care about people, want things to be good, right? Problem is the minorities, and not minorities in color or in sex, but the in gender, I should say, the minorities are the loudest ones. They're the ones storming the office.
Right.
They're the ones, you know, coming on and blasting this and that. They're the ones that are like that.
Right.
Right. It's about time for the majority of people, good people on both sides, to say, you know what, we've had enough of that.
Right.
Like, don't use us in what you do. Now, part of that is you got to pick the right people. Okay? If you're the majority in that side, you probably want to pick somebody who represents you well. Okay. And not somebody who doesn't represent you, really. Okay. Because a lot of the people that I talk to that are great people, like you said, even on either side, they don't think he's a great person.
Right.
Okay. Well, then you mean to tell me you couldn't find a person that maybe was a better person that could get things done in our country? I don't know. I don't know how many people there are. There's a whole lot of people, though, you could have chosen from.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Let me tell you, man.
Hey,
there have been.
This too shall pass.
And tell your friend thanks for listening. I'm going to tell him.
I
Thanks
do
for
all the
listening,
time.
man. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
And he's a Notre Dame fan.
See, go Irish. See what I'm saying? That's the common bond. You know what? We could bring this country together by everybody liking Notre Dame. Come on, fellas, like cheering. Huh? Jump in here.
You know what? Everybody.
Huh? Jump in.
I like it. So, like Notre Dame, okay,
wake up
then root for Ohio State as they play in multiple national championships, okay, and are always in the conversation.
Look, what I was going to say is there have been a lot of scoundrels that have sitting in the Oval Office, right?
Yes.
Now, the difference is how they make us look to the world and to our impressionable young folk, right? And in a sense of how you handle controversy, or if you are on opposite sides of ideas and beliefs, it's about how you handle that business. We've had some dirty, low down dogs in that office over the history of this country, and this is the first time that it's been outwardly brash, and they don't care. Rarely do I hear him talk about our kids, right? I used to hear presidents talk about, well, this is how we want our kids in the future and blah, 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 and we want them to look this and we want to represent. And I don't hear that from him, right? And he doesn't care about other leaders in the world. All he cares about is, and I get it, America first. Look, I want America first too. But at what expense? At what expense to how we look, our what's the word I'm looking for? Our reputation. At what expense? I sent you guys a picture of that newspaper from India, and they called it coup, C-O-U-P, coup, like coup d'etat, Klux Klan. That's how we look to the world, man. And that's, I don't know if have we ever been looked upon lower?
Well, I think we've been looked upon as infidels or looked upon as, these different things, but we were respected.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think people looking at us are respect. You think Putin respects us?
No.
You think,
but I think part of it too is that our dirty laundry wasn't out there as bad as it is now. The division, like, we knew that it was two different worlds because we lived it, but it was never one that was put on display.
I'm not even talking about, hold on, I'm not even talking about race though, really. I mean, I know they put it in Ku Klux Klan, but I'm talking about how he treats
I'm just saying in
world
general,
leaders.
But I mean,
how he
but
treats
if you
people.
Look at that though,
how he treats people within his own party, how he treats people on the opposite side of the party. I'm talking about the overall landscape, how he treats people. If it ain't his daughter that he's hugged up on and kissing on, He's treating it,
which is another sick issue, but they'll deal with that one
right.
today.
But like, it's just how he treats people in general, because like I said, if you can't do nothing to help him financially, then he had no use for you.
Yeah.
All those things, those tax breaks for those corporations, it's coming back to him. Something's coming back to him.
Yeah, he exposed us. I mean, he exposed the country for all the weaknesses, the cracks.
We're exposed,
and I guess that's what I'm saying. Not so much about just the race,
right,
piece of it, but he exposed all the dirty laundry that has not necessarily been out in the open, and race was one piece of it that worldwide took a look. You then have the political piece that now just goes across whatever crosses all.
The race part of it, dog. I just laughed because the race part of it, you know what it is? We sit here and we laugh. I laughed like the other day. I laughed out loud. This is not new to us. I've known this since I was a kid. The first time I got called the N-word, I knew I was different. And that's almost 40 years ago. And now there are people who are surprised at the division. Why are you surprised? We've been trying to tell you. Martin Luther King Jr. tried to tell you. It's in the history books.
Well, I think the saddest thing is that when your leader's tongue is loose and sharp, okay, and carries themselves in a despicable manner, and I don't care whether we agree politically or not. It's not up for debate, because that's what a lot of folks like about him.
Right.
Okay,
right,
they like that, and that's fine. If that's what you choose, you can like whatever you want.
Yeah.
But when that's the case, okay, then people are a lot more comfortable being loose with their tongues
and their lips,
okay, and whatnot, and saying things that under other circumstances they probably wouldn't say.
Yeah.
The difference is, listen, I'm not saying so the guy who ends up winning and gets in office, he's the best thing since sliced bread. I'm not here to say that.
Right.
Okay. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, I don't expect that we're going to have to see him carry himself like that.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about having to explain to my son, okay, who's 10 years old, okay, why it's okay for somebody to talk like that or act like that or support this or not come out and speak against this, or does he think this is okay, or why does he talk bad about these people but not these people when they're doing similar or the same things?
Right.
See, I don't have to explain that to my son in 10 days.
Right.
Okay. And the reality of it is, my son doesn't care about politics, and nor should he. 10 years old. He needs to care about Xbox.
That's right.
He needs to care about getting his homework done on the computer while he's online learning.
That's right.
Okay. And he needs to work on knocking down a jump shot. Okay. I mean, he needs to work on that. He needs to have fun.
Yeah.
Okay. He needs to be lighthearted.
That's right.
He doesn't have to he doesn't have to sit through, CNN or Fox, while we're watching people act like total idiots, not patriots, but idiots. Okay. Because they're going up against, what they're saying they're here to protect. It's ridiculous, man. Come on. Turn off Prime Video, man. Come on. That's not real. That shouldn't be reality.
Right.
Okay. Not if you're saying you want America to be a certain way, you want it to be great, right?
Right.
Okay. But I think sometimes we have to look at what's great to people. Okay. Great to me is peace. Great to me is helping everybody succeed and raise up.
Yeah.
It's reaching down, okay, and helping those that maybe don't have as much or didn't have the same advantages or whatever, not based on race necessarily, based on everything, man. Hey, it's our America too. We're all in this together.
Yep.
It's not separate. People talk about, if you don't like it, go somewhere. Here's the deal. If you don't like it, go somewhere.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, go somewhere.
It's your turn. We heard that for how many years? It's your turn.
Go make your place and invite anybody you want to come.
Yeah, man, look, And then, you get those. And the last thing I'll say about it, and I'm done with it. I keep hearing people say, well, we shouldn't still be getting held responsible for the things that happened 200 years ago. Blah, 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 blah. But it's like, but if you pay attention, it's still happening today.
Yeah.
The fact that there was a noose at this rally.
Yeah.
There's still black and brown people being lynched.
Yeah.
Come on, people. It's not change. It has not changed. So it's still happening. So no,
Jeff, I'm glad
we're not convicting all white people.
No.
It's like we recognize that there are allies.
That's right.
Right? There are allies on both sides, and there's enemies within the ranks.
That's right.
So it's not one of those things where it's like we're criticizing or trying to lump everybody into one group. But the fact of the matter is you have to acknowledge the fact that the situations, the issues that were haunting black and brown people for years, for 400 or 500 years, are still things that are prevalent today. And that's the part that more than anything that people need to recognize. I'm done.
I'm going to say this, and I know we're out of time, Sean. I know we're running over.
Woo.
Jeff, thank you for saying that. I will say this to every person out there that can hear this. Every white person out there.
Go Irish. Oh, no, sorry.
I don't hold 200 years ago against any person living today. With that being said, I'm going to hold what you said on Facebook yesterday against you.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh.
I'm going to hold how you respond to when you see injustices happen today.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you feel a certain way today, it's wrong. It's wrong. Period.
Well,
guess what? The overwhelming majority of people want good for me just like I want good for them. That's how it should be.
Just like you said.
So,
you're not going to hold 200 years ago against them today. But you know what I will hold against them is when there is a movement to try to eliminate some of those restrictions that were put in place and then modified along the way along these 200, 400 years. Right? When we try to make the adjustment and correct the wrong, and then you want to be against it, I will hold that against you. And that does tie you back to slavery. Okay? So systemic racism, you don't believe in it? It doesn't exist? I'm holding that against you, and it ties you back 400 years. How about that? I'm going to give myself a little
he's got
fire.
a point. Yourself a clap,
fire.
Sean. Let's go.
Hey. I give all
Guys.
of us the clap.
I'll take the applause.
Because look, this topic is not easy to navigate when you're putting this out to the public and you have jobs and careers and responsibilities. It's not easy to navigate. We can get on here and be real loose and put all ourselves in jeopardy, but we don't. We have restraint. We're adults.
That's right.
There it is.
And if I was, I definitely wouldn't be wearing my access card to my company.
Who did that? Somebody did that?
Yes.
Huh?
One of the guys that got arrested.
Yes.
And fired.
Yeah.
And fired. Like I said in the beginning, special kind of stupid. But hey, you know what? He went down fighting for what he believes in. So I guess there's something in
Unpatriot.
that.
I mean patriot. Unpatriot. I don't know.
Listen, everybody, thank you for joining the Getaway Podcast with Tony and Sean. We try
And
to
Jeff.
keep it light, but we do have to keep it real. Oh yeah, and Jeff, the Michigan fan.
Hey, look.
Jeff, I love you, but you know what? It's like a reflex now, man. When I say it, I gotta So I'm gonna say it like 100 times over the next couple of days,
It's like
so I
still,
get it right.
It's like still writing 2020 when you write out stuff.
Right.
You can't change it.
That's exactly it. Hey, go Buckeyes, OHIO. I'll do it for you guys tomorrow. Hey, a win for the Buckeyes is a win for all of you.
Jeff, you picked Ohio State. I'm picking Bama. I haven't forgotten.
We represent the little guys. Don't forget that. All right. Jeff, you represent everything that you guys want to climb back and be. So
What a jerk.
we're in this together. We're in this together.
Oh,
And Sean, you know you have to go get a Buckeye to get you to the next level. And that's fine too. Thank you, Marcus Freeman. I'll say it for you. So, OHIO. Let's go.
That's it for episode
Very good,
27
everybody.
of the Getaway Podcast with Tony, Sean, and Jeff. Say words, son.
words, son.
son.